You can walk outside, you can take it in, you can breathe it through your nose, you can just feel it. We finally made it to the greatest time of the year. And no, I'm not talking about the holiday season. I'm talking about that special moment when college football and college basketball cohabitate to get you through the end of the season. What's cooking? Welcome back into another edition of Now We Can Talk Like Fans on ESPN Louisville Plus. I'm Justin Soforo, and of course I got you for all things cards, cats, bourbon, and bluegrass. And I've been a little bit with some of these videos. I've been out for a little bit. If you haven't already, you can follow me over on Twitter at Justin Soforo, and you may have seen some of my opinions when it comes to the unofficial start of the college basketball season. We're going to get into that, but of course, first we're going to go into the main news of the day, and that is the news that maybe won't surprise a lot of you, but Jeff Goodman tweeted out that Louisville's Casean Pryor to miss the season opener. Pat Kelsey tells the field of 68 today. Now, there's a couple parts of this that I want to talk about. First off, Casean Pryor missing the start of the season. Not much of a surprise to a lot of us. I think maybe putting out the official notice that he will not be playing Monday when the season officially kicks off against South Carolina State. You kind of hope to maybe see him get a little bit closer to being ready. Unfortunately, that is not the case, and Casean Pryor will once again miss a game to start the season, and then we'll see when he will play. And that's the most important part to me with the story than it is about South Carolina upstate or state. At the same time, part A of this story is what I really want to talk about, which is Louisville basketball and the way that they have started the unofficial preseason exhibition time. And I know a lot of you are going to come at me. A lot of you are not going to be happy with my opinions, my comments on the situation, because I disagree with a lot of you. I disagree strongly with a lot of you on your position that the exhibition season doesn't matter. Louisville opening up with a massive showdown against the Kansas Jayhawks and Bill Self, and going out there and unfortunately looking overmatched, looking like a team in disarray, looking like a team that had just met for the first time in a lot of situations, getting crammed on bucket after bucket, going down 16. Yes, in the end, whittling it back down to 8 points. But for all intents and purposes, Louisville basketball was overmatched in that exhibition. And I know I can hear you already, a lot of you. It doesn't matter. It's an exhibition game. It doesn't count. It doesn't count what happens in there. It doesn't count that they play against Bucknell and they scored 23 three-pointers. That doesn't matter. None of it matters. None of it matters at all. While they did look better in the Bucknell game that happened yesterday and the way that they performed in the second half, let's not forget the first 17 minutes where they looked discombobulated, where they looked again like a team that had just met up and looked evenly matched with the Bucknell team for a good portion of that game. I worry about this team defensively, and that's where a lot of the issues come in. Kansas had big men who could bang down low. I can't even pronounce the name. I'm trying to remember exactly. Whatever his name was, I'm forgetting it right now, exactly pronunciation-wise. He was dominant over Louisville. And then we look at what Louisville has right now with Sanada Fru, and you see, I don't even want to get into Zugris and talk about him as a player, but Sanada Fru started to develop a little bit in the second half of the game. Pat Kelsey pointed out as well that there were other things that Sanada Fru is doing that really don't count on the scorecard. Don't check off those boxes for Louisville basketball when it just comes to points, blocks, et cetera, et cetera. And then you got Ali Khalifa, who is you can definitely see the prowess and the mental fortitude of him when it comes to him being a facilitating big man. The problem is I look at these three players and I don't see anybody who can be a defensive presence, who can be a force in the paint, who can make teams that are going in on you in the lane take a step back, dribble the ball back out to midcourt. You know what I mean? Those kind of movements. Nobody's a Gorgie Zhang, right? There's nobody like that who makes you think, take a second chance. And that's where I'm worried a little bit. I'm not saying that Casean Pryor is that player, but Casean Pryor is a little bit more physically imposing in the middle. when it comes to getting blocks, getting stops there, making them think for a second, and then also is able to finish in the paint much better than what I've seen from Sana Nafru and from it's definitely Zugris to start. I would like to see more from Ali Khalifa as well. Now, this is where I just want to bring up this topic about, a lot of people are saying that it doesn't matter. I care about what happens in March. I care about where Louisville is. Let's just go ahead and get this out of the way. It is difficult, nay, impossible, especially like looking at this season right now. I don't have expectations of Louisville winning a national championship this year. Not from the team that I witnessed play against Kansas. Not from the team that I saw struggle, especially to score 2-pointers. That's a problem that I feel like I would like to see a little bit more of a balanced offense. 23 3-pointers are amazing. But if I feel like every time when we're not hitting, and then we get to the end of the game and you can't hit a simple layup, that's when I'd start to get a little bit worried. Now, let me just go ahead and get into the main issue that I have here. Louisville plays Kentucky in less than 2 weeks. 2 weeks from, less than 2 weeks from the recording of this video. Now, you can say all you want that I don't care about how we're playing at the beginning of the year, I care about the end of the year. That game matters almost more than anything that you're going to play for the rest of the season. Great, an ACC championship, that'd be wonderful. As a longtime fan who has lived in the Bluegrass State, don't lie to yourself. Don't try to pretend to yourself that game does not mean more than any other game you play throughout the season. How many times has Marcus Maben on Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to noon on 93.9 The Ville and the ESPN Louisville app? How many times has he mentioned the 1997-98 game when Louisville on Kentucky's path to a national championship was able to beat Kentucky and upset them during that season, even as poorly as Louisville played through that season? No offense, Marcus. That is a point of contention. That is a point of excitement. That is a point of pride. Winning, being the best team in the Bluegrass. Right now, Louisville has not carried their end when it comes to the rivalry. And one of the things that I was told is that Louisville would be competitive and that Louisville would be one of the best teams in the country with the players that they have accumulated. $8 million hopefully will help get that done, though it's going to be a difficult task when you look at Kentucky with $22 million poured into their players. If somebody's going to buy a championship, they may do it this season. And that is not me being a negative Nancy or me being, a sad Cardinal fan talking about Kentucky. Good for them. I wish we could do that. At the same time, I think Louisville has a lot of the good pieces and key pieces where they can compete against Kentucky. Though Kentucky looked dominant, imposing, potentially looks like the best team in the country. I just want Louisville to have the best opportunity, especially when you play them at home on the 11th of November, and the best chance you have to win that game. Additional thought that I want to bring up too is interesting about Casean Pryor news being filtered off to Jeff Goodman and the relationship that Pat Kelsey has with him. It's not frustration. I don't care because I've never been somebody who is going to go try to reach out, get information. Yeah, we all kind of knew this was going to happen and we knew Kasean Pryor wasn't going to play. But having that kind of final word and confirmation from the coach is that it's not a guy in the Louisville area. Local media, Eric Crawford, people like that. Kind of interesting to me. James Strebel talked about it a little bit with Jeff Lightsey on the roundtable Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. on ESPN 680, 1057 and the ESPN Louisville app. But they really kind of dug into it a little bit, talking about the strained relationships, things that one Scott Satterfield did. Scott Satterfield was mainly worried about his people, mainly worried about guys outside of the Louisville ecosystem, the environment. If you come here, and I'm full support of Pat Kelsey. I like the things that he has done. Can't argue with what he did last season outside of the performance there against Creighton to end the season. Left a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth. But at the same time, I think you really need to ingratiate yourself with the community, with the Eric Crawfords of the world, with even Rick Bozich, even though Rick Bozich loved him some KP, but especially a guy like Eric Crawford. I think those are the guys you really, even and ESPN Louisville, people around here, we are the affiliate, the guys who are supporting you first and foremost. I would, you'd think, Drew Dean or Mark Blankenship, people like that, relationships developed. Those are the ones that I think you would be better off, better suited, and most understandably, those would be the ones that you want to filter that information through. And I think those relationships would be better off in the long run, especially if you plan to have a long-term career at the University of Louisville. That being said, I really care where that information goes to in the long run? Not really, because I'm not that guy. But I do also understand that local personalities matter. Mike Rutherford, whoever. I'm not even just saying ESPN Louisville people. Mike Rutherford, whoever. People that are local, not just national media sources like Jeff Goodman. But it's also a little bit of that Chris Mack flavor, if you will, where he's just so stuck into those guys who are going to hype him up. But then at the same time, what about the people here dealing with you every day? That's all I really have for today. Just let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Interesting stories around here, especially given Louisville needs a big man presence, needs to be better defensively, and needs to get Casean Pryor back for the game when the Cardinals take on the Kentucky Wildcats in less than 2 weeks. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, do me a favor, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon to stay notified for all of our latest videos. You can follow me at Justin Soforo. Of course, you can follow Now We Can Talk Like Fans on our other YouTube channel as well. ESPN Louisville, 93.9 The Ville on all the other associated social media platforms. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Cards, Cats, Bourbon, and Bluegrass. See ya.